How's it going, Webheads? My name is Ryan Walsh, and this is the Power Rangers movie review. In this review, I'm going to be doing a non-spoiler and a spoiler review, both in one video. So basically, the first half is going to be my non-spoiler review for those that have not seen the movie and just want to know, is it worth the price of admission? Is it worth going to see this movie? For the spoilers review, for those who have seen the movie and just want to talk about what happened, all the spoilers, that will also be happening at the end of the video. I will tell you guys when it is spoiler time, so for those of you that have not seen the movie, you guys can stop the video, go see the movie, and then come back and watch the whole thing through. If you guys want to hear my movie review, make sure to stay tuned. Alrighty guys, so the new Power Rangers movie just came out, and I've been super pumped for this movie. I used to be a little bit of a fan. I wasn't like a huge fan of the Power Rangers, but I was a pretty good, decent fan of the original ones when they first came out. I watched it all the time on TV, and I watched a couple of the movies, especially the one with like Ivan Ooze, if you guys remember that one. I was a big fan of that movie. I really liked that movie. And I actually watched it not too long before I saw the new movie, and I still like, you know, it brought back memories, but at the same time, I was watching and I was just kind of like, wow, this shit's really corny. It's just a very corny movie, and it's like, oh my god, I can't believe I thought this was cool. But, yep, I did. I mean, I was a little kid, so. Alrighty guys, this is how I'm going to structure this movie review. If you've seen my movie reviews before, you know how it's structured, but for those who have not seen it before, I do my positives, my negatives, and then my overall thoughts. And yes, this is the non-spoiler review, so you don't have to worry about me spoiling the movie at any point during this portion of the video. So, let's get into it. The first thing I'm going to say that is a positive about this movie is that they took a very corny TV show and just a corny like superhero genre in its own, and they completely modernized it. They made it really cool and funny. It's like, it's pretty, like, there's a lot of comedy in this movie. Right when you start the movie, there's comedy. It's like you definitely get the tone and the feel for the movie, and you're like, wow, this is actually pretty good. Like, I was very surprised from the start of it, because I went in with low expectations. I did not think it was going to be that great. I thought it was going to be, a bad movie. I'll be honest with you guys. I was very excited in all my reactions to the trailers, but in reality, I was kind of just like, let's be honest here. This is probably not going to be that great of a movie. And yes, of course, I had that I had that attitude because I didn't think they could take this kind of a corny movie and make it cool. But they did. They did just that. They did such justice to this movie. There was a lot of nods to the originals. A lot of lines that were from the original TV show, and there's a lot of special cameos. I will not say who cameos, but there are cameos. I don't think that's a spoiler since it's been coming out everywhere, all over like movie news sites. But there are a couple cameos in the actual movie, and when they happen, everyone knows, or at least all the fans know. And there's just really good nods to the TV show, and I think they do a great job at that. Definitely the hardest thing to do with this movie is make all of the kids in the movie relatable and not feel like they're just whining, complaining. You know, that kind of teenager movie stuff that's like they just keep whining about their lives. Oh my god, Bethany doesn't like me. Bethany hates me. They don't do that. They don't do any of that kind of stuff. I mean, there is one character, Trini, in this movie, and I think she's the only one that can get a little whiny at some points, but at the same time, it isn't that bad. It really isn't bad at all. She's pretty good. So they definitely did a great job with making the characters relatable, making the Power Rangers just seem cool. There are 3 actors in particular, in my opinion, that really stood out in this movie. That'd be the Red Ranger, the Pink Ranger, and the Blue Ranger. And the actors' names are Dacre Montgomery, Naomi Scott. That was the Red Ranger first, and then the Pink Ranger. And then the last one is RJ Cyler, I think that's his name. I hope I'm not butchering his name. But that is the Blue Ranger. And I'll tell you right now, the one that stuck out the most and was just really good, and was just kind of the heart of the movie, was RJ Cyler as the Blue Ranger, or Billy. he, throughout the entire movie, like at the beginning of the movie, you're kind of like, this kid's really goofy, but I like him. He's funny. He's just really like a cool character, and you definitely get a lot of character development from him. More so him than anybody else. But I would say the Red Ranger gets probably, the Red and Pink Ranger are right behind him. But he is just really the heart of the movie, guys. He's so good in this role. And if you see him in like actually in press interviews or stuff like that, the actor is completely different from the character in the movie. And Billy's like the smart kid, who's kind of a little socially awkward, but he just kills it. He steals the movie from everybody. He is so good as the Blue Ranger. And I honestly didn't think that the actors were going to be like amazing, but 3 of them were. And you guys have to watch out for these 3 actors, because they are going to be kids you're going to see further down the line in more movies, because they did that well in this movie. The other 2 actors for the Black Ranger and the Yellow Ranger, they were very good too. Don't think that they were bad, because the first, like the other guys were just better. They just really were good. They brought their A game when they acted in this movie, and you really cared for all 3 characters. The other 2 you definitely cared for, but not as much. The thing is, they're good actors just put next to excellent actors in this movie. And that makes me really happy about this movie, because you have to give them some credit. When you look at Power Rangers, it's very difficult to see the source material and be able to revamp it, especially when you're an actor that hasn't acted in a lot of stuff. This is kind of their first like big thing that they're doing. And yet they did great. All 5 of them did a great job. 3 of them did an excellent job. That is my opinion. I think they were great in the movie. And then one just stole the show. RJ Cyler, he stole the show. He did such a good job. Now, 2 characters in this movie that I actually did not think that was going to be like portrayed very well. I thought they were going to, because of just the source material that came before it, I thought they were going to have nothing to go off of. I didn't think it was going to be cool. Now it would be Alpha 5 and Zordon. I thought those 2 characters were not going to be good. I did not think they were going to be good. Even with Bryan Cranston being Zordon, I didn't think it was going to be amazing. Wow, was I wrong. They proved me wrong time and time again this movie, and I should have never doubted them. I really shouldn't have, because they did a spectacular job with both those characters. Alpha 5, you definitely get nods of the original Alpha 5. He's like saying ay. Those like really corny lines, but he's doing really well with it. Like it's not crap. It's good. And Bill Hader, he actually voiced him, and he did a great job. Like, you think that they would just be like, oh, whatever, Alpha 5, yeah. And there was one reaction that I did where it was a clip, and he started blinking, and I thought right there it was going to get cartoony. I was like, oh, no, they're going to ruin him. They're going to ruin it. Nope. Right after that, I was just kind of like, wow, they didn't go the really cartoony, route. That's kind of weird. This is actually pretty damn good. Zordon, you get a little more Zordon. The thing that really is cool about Zordon in this movie, you get a little more story with him. I will not spoil it at all, but you get more of Zordon, and that is all I'm going to say. He has a really cool role in the movie, in my opinion. I thought he was better, much better than the original. It's not hard to be better than the original, in my opinion, but still, they just did a great job with the Zordon character and Alpha 5. Both of them, those were the 2 characters I didn't think were going to be transpired very well from TV to the big screen, but they did a great job. They keep impressing me throughout the entire movie. Very, very good. Now, as I get into my negatives, yes, there are negatives in this movie. It's not all perfect. But the first negative is the villains. And there's no other way to say this, but the villains suck. The villains very much suck in this movie. Elizabeth Banks plays Rita Repulsa. Oh my god, she was horrible. She was horrible. When you watch this movie, it has a certain tone to the movie. It's more serious. Still a little jokey, still fun, but it's more serious than the original TV show. When she comes on screen, Rita Repulsa, Elizabeth Banks, when she comes on screen, it's the TV show again. I mean, it's not as bad as the TV show, but it's still, you get that vibe. It's just like, it's really corny. It felt really out of place. I didn't like it at all. It really did bother me. It didn't bother me as much as it ruins the movie, but it still bothered me because it's just like, you see her doing weird shit the whole time. She's just doing really weird stuff. And then Goldar is like this giant gold monster. Yeah, I mean, I get what this, like, what he was in the TV show. They could have done something cooler with him. He doesn't do anything. He's just a big monster that just, like, hits everything. That's it. That's all you get from the villains. There's not a lot to it. It's okay. I mean, Rita Repulsa had a pretty cool backstory, and for a little bit of the movie, she's really cool, but then when you get, like, when she's just, like, full-on Rita Repulsa, it's bad. It's really bad, guys. Don't look forward to seeing Rita Repulsa unless you really like that corny aspect. Then you're going to love her. If you like that corny aspect of the character from the original, you're going to love her in this movie. But if you don't and you want like a new modern take on her, she's horrible. She's just really bad. And there's no other way to say it. Sorry, guys. There's another thing that really bothered me in the movie, and it's just that there was a lot of accidents that happened. And not like accidents like cars crashing and stuff. No, it's like the heroes, they accidentally saved somebody. They accidentally did something heroic. It wasn't on purpose, and I didn't like that. I think that's just like, you know, it's just, oh, what a coincidence. They just happened to save this person at the right time or something like that, you know? It felt very forced. I didn't like that part of the movie. I thought they could have done a much better job with it. And the thing is, if it happened one time, that's okay. Brush it off. It's not that big of a deal. It happened a couple times, and that kind of bothered me a little bit. I didn't like that as much. Now, there is something that I did praise in the positives. The comedy, I thought it was very good, but there are some lines that kind of fall flat for me. They're a little too silly. I didn't like it as much, but once again, that's kind of just a nitpick. It's very, very minor. It's like 2 lines, and it's not that big of a deal. I won't really go into it, of course, because spoiler territory, but it was a little too silly for me personally. Now getting my overall thoughts. Obviously, the Power Rangers movie was something that was incredibly corny. The whole TV series was very corny, very childish, but you know what? You have to give them credit where credit is due, and it is due in this movie, because tell you guys right now, I was very hesitant on, like, thinking the movie was going to be good. I was preparing myself for the worst. Thought it was going to be not that great of a movie. They completely proved me wrong. They excelled in all my expectations for this movie. Are there problems with the movie? Yes, there are. It's not a perfect movie, but is it a good movie? Yeah, it's a good movie. Should you guys see it in the theaters? I'll tell you right now, this movie is definitely Webhead approved. And yes, you guys should definitely pay admission to go see this movie. It is definitely worth it, guys. I promise you, you will have fun with Power Rangers. It definitely gives you, if you're a Power Rangers fan, it gives you that old vibe of the original Power Rangers, along with giving it a modern and cool feel to the new cast and the new just Power Rangers lore that had now come, and they kind of merged it in a way where it's just really, really cool. And there are definitely cool fight scenes in the movie, a lot of action toward the end of the movie, but the thing that it is, the action wasn't even what got me throughout the whole movie. Most of the movie isn't action. It's just the kids. You're focusing on the kids, and you're focusing on their problems and their character development throughout the entire movie. And that's what really gets you in this movie. Those parts are even better than the action. And it's funny for me to say that, because usually I don't say that about movies. I usually say, oh, the action's the best part. But no, it's actually just the kids themselves, the character development, and all the actors did a great job in this movie. Guys, definitely go see Power Rangers in the theaters. Definitely worth your time. It is not a bad movie. Alrighty, guys, so now getting into my spoiler talk. Yes, heavy spoilers ahead. So if you've not seen the movie yet, go see the movie, come back and watch the spoilers so we can get into some really spoiler heavy stuff. Alrighty, guys, so if you're here right now, you have seen the Power Rangers movie, and now we can get into spoilers. If you have not seen it, what the hell are you doing here? Get out of here. Go see the Power Rangers movie. First thing I want to talk about in the Power Rangers movie that is the spoiler talk is the one part that actually did bother me just kind of a lot. But this is really the only thing I'm going to talk about that bothered me in spoiler talk. When Rita Repulsa comes down and is with Trini, the Yellow Ranger, in her bedroom and is throwing her around. Nobody else hears it? No one in her house can hear two superhumans fighting in one room when the walls are being completely broken into. It's like, I think there's bricks in the room at one point, and they go like through the bricks, and no one hears. Now the parents don't hear, the two brothers don't hear, no one. It's like, are they deaf? Like, those are pretty heavy sleepers, because that's ridiculous. That bothered me just a little bit. And yeah, I don't think that one's a nitpick, because that's just really like dumb. It's like, are you kidding me? No one can hear this. They're going through walls, and no one can hear this. That's something that just bothered me. But as getting through, that's the only thing I really did not like about one of the scenes in the movie. I thought it was kind of poorly done and not realistic at all. But getting on through the movie, I'll talk to you guys about the end credits scene. Now, man, it caught me off guard. I personally thought they were going to tease the villain Zed. I think that's his name. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments below, but Zed was someone that definitely I thought they were going to tease in the end credits scene, because Rita Repulsa throughout the whole movie was just talking about, oh, other people know the crystal's here and that the new Rangers and all that, and they're going to come after you guys. So why didn't they tease that? But the thing is, what we got for the teaser was even better than that villain. In the teaser, or the end credit scene, we got Tommy Oliver, which I was super excited about. At first I was like, oh, who's Tommy Oliver? I was like, oh, wait a minute. Shit, yeah, there we go. And you know, I was really excited to hear that, because I'm like, well, obviously, I mean, they're obviously thinking about more movies down the line, because they've already planned like 6. They've already planned like 6 movies for this franchise, because obviously they're thinking, yeah, I think we're going to be seeing more Power Rangers, and I think they got plans for it. So why not introduce the Green/White Ranger? I know him as a White Ranger. That's what I always kind of grew up with. I remember seeing the one of the Power Rangers movies where it's like the villain was Ivan Ooze. I forget the title of the movie, but Ivan Ooze was the villain, and Tommy Oliver, the White Ranger, was actually the leader of the whole group. And that's the one that I want to see. I don't want to see the Green Ranger. They already did that with Rita Repulsa. And I actually like that whole little story arc of her being the Green Ranger. I thought that was actually really cool, but I just didn't like the character of Rita Repulsa at all, because I thought she was really corny, really dumb, and just not that great. But I'm excited to see Tommy Oliver coming to this movie. Now, I have seen a couple things online where people are talking about maybe Tommy Oliver can be a woman, but put some more females on the team, so it's like 3 and 3, like 3 men, 3 women. I'd be okay with that, honestly. I don't think it's a big deal. Would I prefer a man for being Tommy Oliver? Yeah, kind of, because that's who Tommy Oliver was in the original TV series. I wouldn't mind they just sticking to the same thing, but at the same time, if they changed it up, I'd be okay with it too. I'm okay with either way. But would I prefer one way? Yes, but would I prefer the other way? Would I like the other way as well? Yeah, I'm okay with it. It's cool. Now, the biggest thing I wanted to talk about in spoilers is the Krispy Kreme stuff. I thought that was the best product placement in a movie that I have ever seen. Oh yeah, I will go as far as ever seen. That is the funniest thing. I was laughing my ass off when I was seeing this part, because they're literally, Rita Repulsa just like, Krispy Kreme, what is that? That must be a kingdom or something. I forget what she said, but man, was it funny. I was so excited. And then she's eating the donuts. I thought that was really, really clever, really funny to do with the product placement overall. But the actual fight at the end was awesome. We actually got to see more of the Zords than we've ever seen before. You see the actual Zords fighting individually, not as a Megazord, all throughout the whole fight. You get more of the actual Zords in particular, which I personally like, because you never do see that. You never see that in the movies or the TV show. You never saw that. You got to see him, you know, once they'd be running to go to the battle, and then they just go to Megazord. And it'd be like, oh, really? I mean, okay. But then when they do get into Megazord, man, it is awesome. It is so cool. I loved the Megazord fight. I thought that was so cool. I thought the whole battle scene was action-packed. It's definitely for the fans more than it is for everybody else. It's definitely for the fans, because you do see the cameo of the original Tommy Oliver and Pink Ranger, which is super cool. I loved seeing that part. So that does it for my overall review, spoiler and non-spoiler. Post your comments down below. Tell me what you guys thought about the Power Rangers movie. Did you guys like it? Did you not like it? What was your favorite scenes? What scenes did bothered you? Did you like Rita Repulsa? Did you like the cast? All that kind of stuff. Just tell me down in the comments below, guys. I'll probably respond to you guys. I usually do. So tell me down in the comments, guys. I'd love to talk some Power Rangers with you. Alright, thank you guys very much for watching this movie review. I very much appreciate it. Bye-bye. Guys, thank you very much for watching this movie review. If you'd like, you can subscribe over here if you like this movie review. I have plenty more movie reviews coming out. And turn on the notifications. Keep up to date with all my latest content coming on my channel. There are also some social media tags down the bottom right corner where you guys can follow me on social media. And I also have links in the description of my social media to make sure it's even easier for you guys. But before you guys do that, make sure you guys check out the 2 videos that are below me. I think you guys would really, really enjoy them. Thank you guys very much for watching. I very much appreciate it. Bye-bye.